If you are 35 years old and plan to retire at 65, you have about 360 opportunities to save towards retirement. That is, if you're employed with just one source of income. You only have 360 salaries to collect. So that means you only have 360 opportunities to save towards retirement. Now, if you're behind with your retirement targets, you don't have much time. And today on the show, I'm going to give you the ultimate retirement strategy for under 45s.
Welcome to the Wealth Nation podcast, a podcast for every mother, daughter, grandmother, sister, and wife, and the men who are smart enough to tune in. The Wealth Nation podcast brings you all you need to know about investments, business, property investments, personal finance, and all-around financial wellness. Here is your host, Yolanda Rose.
Thanks for joining me on another edition of the Wealth Nation podcast. We are approaching almost 100 shows. Pretty exciting. We've been going for around 2 years now and talking about lots of amazing stuff in the world of finance in South Africa and lots of cool people that we've been talking to as well. And what I've done is I'm going to get a bunch of cool people in a room for Financial Success Summit 2021. So this is the first virtual conference that we're putting up. It's a personal financial conference. No products, just strategy, how you can be making money, building wealth, and keeping more of your hard-earned money. Some amazing guests, Rabbi Dalian Lapan, Kantha Naika, Gray Jabesi, Selendile Lesayani. So some amazing people that are going to be talking to you about finance. I want you to join us on the 17th and the 18th of April, wherever you are, because it's all happening virtually on your device. So go and check it out on our website. It's www.financialsuccesssummit.net. The Wealth Nation podcast is sponsored by Financial Success Summit 2021. I am getting the top folks in their industry, from a property to Bitcoin to formal investments, banking, short-term insurance, budgeting, all of the tools, all of the tips, all of the tricks, all of the strategies that you need to break free financially. I'm getting all these folks together in one virtual room that's happening on the 17th and 18th of April 2021. So if you want to get tickets to this event, go to the website. It's www.financialsuccesssummit.net and buy those tickets. Tickets are selling for just 99 Rand. And if you use this coupon code for a limited time, you can get early bird tickets. So go and shop for tickets. You're going to get a 60% discount and pay just 40 Rand for 2 days of power-packed financial advice. Use coupon code early bird at checkout. This offer expires on the 31st of January 2021. So if you're new here, thank you for choosing the Wealth Nation podcast. Hopefully we add some value to your day and give you an idea. And specifically today, we're talking about the ultimate retirement strategy for the under 45s. So if you're under 45, this is the show for you. And if you know anybody under 45, and I know you do, please share this podcast with them so they can get some ideas on how to get ready for retirement. All right. The thing is, when putting together a retirement strategy, you're thinking you're working, you got your pension plan and provident plan, and you think, all right, I'm set for retirement. But really, that's not the case, especially with the way we are in now. Currently, all right, nobody can survive comfortably with just one salary unless you're in the top bracket. You're in upper management, you're a CEO, you're an executive, you're okay. But the rest of us cannot manage with just one salary. We need multiple incomes. And I don't know if you know this, but the cost of living is not going down. It's going up. Inflation is going up. The petrol price is increasing. And we're kind of like a bunch of frogs, and somebody's slowly turning up the heat. We don't really notice it, but eventually there's going to come a time where it's going to become unbearable. And the whole idea from today's episode is to prepare you from now. All right, if you're under 45, you got 20, 30 years to plan for this retirement, and I want you to start now. So the goal of retiring is we want to retire debt-free. We don't want to be paying off cars and loans and mortgage bonds or anything like that. We want to try our best to reach retirement, age 65, sometimes even longer. We want to be debt-free, so we just living for our basic living expenses. So the first thing in drafting up this retirement strategy is you got to understand what are your expenses going to be at retirement. And because we're debt free, ideally we want to be debt free. If you are, plan yourself now. You know, if you're going to buy a house, if your current house is not going to be paid off by the time you retire, you need to plan for that. And you need to factor in, obviously, more money for retirement savings. All right, so the basic expenses at retirement is one, a place to live. So determine whether you have a place of your own or you're renting. All right, whatever it is that you're doing, you will have your utilities to pay. Given, I think the retirees do get some kind of discount from the municipalities. I'm sure every municipality is different, but I know here in eThekwini, retirees get a discounted rates on their utility and their rates payment. So if you're a homeowner, you're going to be paying rates. If you're in a sectional title unit, you've got your levies as well. All right, you also have to factor the maintenance costs. You've got a garden to do, something breaks down, plumbing, electrical, anything like that. You got to factor those expenses in. And home insurance, contents insurance, structural insurance, you got to cover that. That just covers your living expenses. A shelter over your head, that's what you got to provide for. Then is your food. You got to provide for your food. You got to provide for your medical aid. Then you got to provide for your vehicle or transportation if you're going to be Ubering around in retirement, or you're going to have a little vehicle to run around. You got to, hopefully that's paid off. If you plan for it now, if you want this vehicle at retirement. Something that's fuel efficient, because you got to pay for fuel, you got to pay for maintenance, servicing, and insurance as well. And then you still have to carry your risk cover, your life cover, your dreaded disease, and your disability cover. Ideally, when it comes to your life cover at this point, your dependents should be taking over, especially if you're leaving stuff for your kids. Your kids should be taking over that life cover portion. It's the ethical thing to do. It's not mandatory. It's just the ethical thing to do. You don't want to be going into retirement and you're struggling and you're paying for this life cover, whereas you've given your kids a great life, a great start, and you don't want the life cover costs, because once you're older, those costs are sky high. And if you are looking for life cover, that ceases upon retirement. And when I say cease, I mean the premiums cease at retirement, but your benefits keep going. I want you to reach out to me. It's Yolanda at Financially Fabulous Females, because those kind of options are available in South Africa. And you can reach out and I'll tell you a little bit more about them. So that's your living expenses. We haven't factored in the grandkids. If you've got older children that want to get married, we haven't factored that in. We haven't factored travel. Everybody wants to travel at retirement. We haven't factored all of those in. I just kept it basic for the sense of planning. So you have an idea of where to start. Whatever extras you want to do in your retirement, you got to add it on there. So you, at the end of this exercise, you want to have that one figure. All right. How you're going to calculate it is you're going to put the current values of all of that there. Your current rent, your current bond, your current utilities, all of that. And then we're going to calculate the future value. Now, I do have a little tool that's going to help you do this. If you want to get your hands on the tool, go to www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com. Ultimate Retirement Strategy. And you download that Excel document. I have all of this listed for you. All the calculations happen automatically. The future values, everything is calculated for you, so you'll have an idea as to how you need to plan.
Raising financially savvy children involves teaching them a variety of skills, from budgeting to planning to earning and saving. Besides giving them an understanding of the value of a rand, it prepares them for real-world finances. Financial literacy is a vital skill, and it is never too early to teach your kids about money. Many parents wonder how they can teach their kids about money and where to find age-appropriate resources. You can now purchase the Financial Literacy for Kids workbook, which is aimed at primary school kids. It's now available at www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com. This workbook provides you with 12 lessons, activities, lesson plans, discussion points, and quizzes that you can use to test your kids' knowledge. Shop now at www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Tuned In. Now back to the show.
Now, the key to retiring well and the key to this ultimate retirement strategy is that you can't just bank on one source of income for retirement. Okay, you want to build a retirement portfolio. Now, don't get scared by the word portfolio, because sometimes when you think portfolio, it's just a bunch of stuff and you don't know what's in there and you don't know how it's working. And this is the purpose of the podcast and the educational content on money that we put out, is for us to debunk all of these big words and for us to be making sense of this. All right, so by retirement portfolio, I mean multiple components in your retirement savings. You got all of these various products and services in there, and all of them are supplying you with an income. So the very first thing, and for most employed people in South Africa, is your work pension and your provident fund. And this will most likely be your foundational source of income because you spend most of your time working. Now, the key here is when you're moving jobs, you don't want to withdraw your retirement or pension savings or provident savings. You want to preserve them. So I'm telling you, 30 years ahead, guys, don't spend your retirement money. You need to preserve them. And if you are employed and you're at an organization that doesn't provide you with a corporate pension or provident fund, you need to catch that up in the form of a personal retirement annuity. Okay, both function exactly the same. The rules are the same. The tax benefits are the same. One of the benefits of having a personal retirement annuity is that when you switch jobs, this carries on with you. Okay, it doesn't have to cease. It just carries on with you at the point of retirement. And also, you can take a personal retirement annuity to supplement your work pension. Maybe the contributions at work are a little bit small. You can supplement it with your own personal retirement annuity and enjoy the tax breaks. Now, we spoke about the breaks an awful lot on this podcast, so I'm not going to discuss it in detail right here. I'm going to place a link in the show notes. And if you want to know about all of the tax benefits of these 2 or 3 retirement products, you're going to click on that link and that will explain everything. Okay. One of the benefits, as I said, is when you leave, in some cases, the pension or the provident fund doesn't allow you to move those funds out or preserve it. It just stays within the fund. And then when you're ready to retire, you get hold of the fund again, and then they're going to pay out your benefits. So every fund is different. Understand the rules, know what's happening in there. All right, and then you're going to back that up with a personal retirement annuity. And if you don't have a work pension, your personal retirement annuity is going to be your core foundational element of your retirement portfolio. So the third thing in the portfolio that you want is a tax-free investment. Again, we spoke a lot about tax-free investments on this podcast. I'm not going to really go into detail here, just to say that you're limited to 36,000 Rand a year and 500,000 per lifetime. So it's tax-free. You don't get those tax deductions or reductions or rebates like you do with the retirement annuity, pension or provident fund. But what you do get with this product is that you can withdraw at any time. You can withdraw those tax-free. And one of the nice things is if you're working with a financial advisor, you get access to a lot more tax-free investment funds than you would with a bank. You can enter an offshore portfolio on a South African tax-free investment, earn your returns in double digits, and then you can withdraw. Now, you don't have to keep this for retirement. You can withdraw at any time. But I want you to see this as the third wheel in your retirement vehicle. All right, so don't touch it until retirement. Obviously, if you have to touch it, you have to touch it. But let that be the last resort. And if you check out this week's video on our YouTube channel, I'm going to show you exactly how the strategy is going to work. It's kind of hard to visualize because we're audio only on this podcast. But look out for that video on our YouTube channel, Financially Fabulous Females, and you're going to see how everything comes together. The fourth leg of your retirement portfolio is cryptocurrency. Now, crypto is not really an asset class. It's just early days in terms of the regulation and how crypto fits in to finance in South Africa. But how I see it is I'm going to buy it now while it's cheap. It's sitting at around $60,000. Just a couple of years ago, it was around $5,000 for one Bitcoin. The way I see it is I'm going to buy a little and keep it away. Because in 30 years' time, there's talk, the economists are talking that one Bitcoin could be 1 million, $2 million. So if I can get what I can now at an affordable rate, by the time I'm ready to retire, my crypto is going to be worth so much. most likely it's going to be the foundation. It's going to be worth more than everything in my retirement portfolio. It's a risk. So that is why I'm not heavily invested into it. I'm hoping it's going to be expensive. It could not be expensive when I retire. But that is why the risk that I'm putting in there is small. I'm making small investments into it and hoping for a big return. While this is not my primary, I'm not banking on this as a retirement plan. It's just something on the wings that could easily really propel me forward at retirement. Or it's just something fractional in my retirement portfolio that if it doesn't pan out, I'm still going to enjoy a good quality of life. All right, so the fifth vehicle in your retirement portfolio is income property. Now, everybody's talking income property in South Africa. I'm sure you've seen it online. But remember the pitfalls with income property, the quality of the tenants, the maintenance costs, the tax that you have to pay on that income. So understand that we spoke a lot about that in our income series a couple of months ago. Go and check out our past episodes. I think it was around episode 73 or so, where we spoke about income property. So this is nice to have at retirement. A couple of income properties, a granny flat on your property, perhaps a nice little holiday thing that you can put on Airbnb. Again, this is not the foundation. It is something on the side. Ideally, how you want things going is 50% coming from your provident or your pension, and maybe 10, 20% from your personal retirement annuity, the same for the tax reinvestment. And everything else I'm talking about is just something supplementary that could make your retirement be something sitting at home and knitting. And the difference can be being on a yacht in the Caribbean, especially with crypto and income property. That can happen if it does take off. All right, so that's income property at number 5 that you want to have in there if it's possible according to your budget. Number 6, I think it's a bigger one for me, bigger than crypto, is gold and silver. Gold and silver is nice because you can literally put it in your pocket and walk around, fly out of the country, do absolutely anything you want with it. And again, I find that gold and silver is even more unregulated than crypto because everybody is looking to regulate cryptocurrency. The Financial Sector Conduct Authority, again, is issuing warnings about the various scams that are happening. But gold is gold. Kruger is Kruger. Okay, I mean, obviously you're going to get your false gold and all of that. But if you buy from somebody reputable and you're keeping it with you and save it towards retirement, every year you should be selling a 1 ounce. But let me tell you this, right? 30 years ago, in 1991, gold was $380 per ounce. Today, gold is $1,750 an ounce. Where will gold be in 35 years' time? If it grows at the same rate, all you need is about 50 Krugers and you're set. All right. And you don't even have to buy a whole Kruger. Take a portion. We spoke about gold as well. And this is just a strategy of pulling all of the various elements that we've showed you on this podcast. Silver as well. In 1991, silver was $4 an ounce. Today, silver is around $25 an ounce. A silver Kruger, 1 ounce Kruger could cost you about maybe 700-800 rand today. There weren't any 1 ounce Krugers back in the day. That just came out something new from the Reserve Bank. But the others have been in circulation for a while. The Britannia, the American Eagle, the American Buffalo, the Canadian Maple, the Australian Kangaroo, and the Koala. They've had silver for the longest of times. And the South African mints suddenly decided to come up with silver Krugers because they see the value, especially now with the demand. Remember that silver is not just a precious metal, it's an industrial metal as well. So the demand for silver, especially now, with people going into solar technology, alternate energy, silver is a huge demand for those kind of industries. 1 Tesla uses around 3 kgs of silver. That's a massive amount. And you know the trajectory of how this is going. Everybody's moving towards solar cars. There are states in the United States that by 2030, gasoline cars or fossil fuel powered cars will be obsolete. And that trend will come here. Although we can't keep the lights on with Eskom, that trend will come here. All right, so those are the 6. It's your work, pension and provident, your personal retirement annuity, your tax-free investment, your cryptocurrency, your income property, and then is your precious and industrial metals in the form of gold and silver. And the last thing that you need to have is a side hustle, and specifically an e-commerce store. Now pay attention to what I'm going to say next. 68% of South African consumers are shopping online since the lockdown last year. So people that have never shopped online before, last year they started shopping online. And I can tell you that it's very hard to move away from shopping online. One thing that I used to hate, when I used to do grocery shopping, is to buy dog food, because I used to buy maybe 2 bags of dog food for the month, right? And that's half my trolley. Now I only buy dog food online because it's delivered right to my door, those big heavy bags. And I go shopping with 1 trolley now, not 2. So those kind of conveniences are the things that come along with e-commerce. And another thing to recognize is that the younger people are coming more financially savvy. They are entering the markets, and they want to do things online. And it's gonna blow up. As big as the e-commerce is right now in South Africa, it's going to get even bigger. And I want you to start something now while you're in your 30s, your 20s, your 30s, your 40s. Because if you start something now, slowly and surely, don't look for profit. Look to build something sustainable, something solid. By the time you're ready for retirement, this is what you need to be doing. The technology is going to be changing. It's going to be a lot easier. And everything is becoming a little bit more smoother. So by the time you retire, you leave your 9 to 5 and you slip in to your side hustle e-commerce store. South Africa is the 37th largest market for e-commerce. I know you're thinking 37, Yolanda, 37. But remember this, South Africa is only 1% of the world's GDP. Okay, we are a force to be reckoned with as a consumer. This is going to blow up in South Africa, and I want you to be a part of it. And remember where you heard it first, okay? Your side hustle can make or break you in retirement, because that work pension is not going to be enough. And I want you to realize that right now. Internet access is expanding. I know we're all about expensive data, most expensive in the world, but that comes with when you're buying 1 gig or 2 gig. Because it's ridiculous, $100. So the contracts, the postpaid contracts, if you're getting things on a business side, is very, very affordable, and it's becoming more affordable. The contracts are becoming more affordable. The internet access is expanding. So if you build it now, this can fund you at retirement. Okay, so I know a lot, if you're not a natural entrepreneur, all you're looking for is profit. But a real entrepreneur knows you got to build that foundation first, and that profit will come. So those are the 5 things that you need in your retirement portfolio that's going to be making you sitting pretty at retirement. But the thing is, you got to start early. You got to start early, especially with things like crypto and gold and your side hustle. You need to start early to get your foot in the door. Buy things while they're cheap and hope that they get expensive later on in 30 years. You hope they appreciate as time goes on. If not, go back to the solid things that you got that's going to work: your pension, your profit, and your tax-free. One of our guest speakers at Financial Success Summit in a couple of weeks' time is Rabbi Daniel Lapin. And in one of his books, he's a big best-selling author on financial strategy. And in one of his books, it says that you should never retire. In Hebrew, there is no word for retirement. So the Hebrew or the Jewish people just do not retire. They continue working. Now, I'm sure you're thinking that you don't want to be working till your 60s or your 70s. But here's the thing. When I say working, doesn't mean that you must continue your 9 to 5 until you die. I'm saying that you should be serving people. Don't rob people of your talent and your skill. Find another way to serve people. You can still wake up late, still go on holiday when you want, but have some purpose in your retirement. Continue your skill. If you're skilled at something, it doesn't stop at retirement. Serve people in a different way. Do a course. Mentor people. Pass on your skill to the next generation. All right, so although I've given you the strategy for retirement in terms of your income, I don't want you to stop working at retirement. Keep going. Even if it's just volunteer work. Volunteer at your church, your local charity, your local nonprofit. Start a nonprofit. Retirement's not just about sitting late, having your feet up. And once you lose that purpose, your mind goes. Keep your mind fresh. Live with purpose. Live in abundance now and at retirement. So go ahead and download my ultimate retirement strategy. It's at www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com/ultimate retirement strategy. All right, so it's a nice little tool that will guide you through the process of identifying what your expenses are going to be at retirement, show you what your future value is, and how much you should have at retirement. All right, so that's it for me on this episode of the Wealth Nation podcast. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel and our other social media channels as well. Always cool content happening there.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to visit our website at www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com and sign up for our free investment masterclass.